And here we are doing another weather check. I think our last weather check was 37 degrees and kind of misty and icy outside. That sidewalk, you could see it. The grass, you could see a little bit of grass, I think, last time. But nope, the snow is officially returned, and we are getting some more of it today. I think we're under a winter storm warning, so it's a good idea to do another adventure from the couch. And I think I've got a topic that will go right along with this weather check. Well, hello there, and welcome to another beautiful day on Tommy Travels the Second. And today we're going to talk about how Minnesotans deal with the winter. There are a lot of folks who live in other warmer, more sane areas of the country. But me and many others live right here in Minnesota. And I'm telling you, it is absolutely beautiful in the spring, summer, and fall. There's probably no better place in the country to live than right here in Minnesota. But during the winter, it can be tough to deal with. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with how winter works, if you live down south, I've got a friend in Florida who's like, "Oh, it's winter, it's 37 degrees. Ha! I laugh at you. I'm just kidding, of course, but it's all a matter of perspective. For him, 37 degrees really cold. For me, 37 is it's time to go get the car washed kind of weather. And so, hope you don't mind me teasing you a little bit there, Andy, but you're my most loyal subscriber, so you can probably handle it, I think. And so, if you are brand new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a thing, and we're gonna be back right after this. So somebody commented on my last video saying that winters sure are beautiful in America. And that is true. And they are very beautiful here in Minnesota. When that first snowfall hits and everything is all white and clean and beautiful, it is very nice to look at. And there's some great photography you can get in the wintertime as well. But as a Minnesotan, there are extra things that we have to do to deal with winter that other folks in warmer climates in the country don't have to deal with. For example, in a warm climate, if you want to go somewhere, you can just hop in your car and start it up and go somewhere. Minnesotans, it's a whole different kind of process. It's like, what is the weather looking like outside? Is it deathly cold out, or is it snowing, or is it icy? What are the road conditions like? And also, how long am I going to be gone, and what's going to happen with the weather while I'm gone? We have to be prepared for these kinds of things. It's a whole checklist that you have to go through. So if there's any chance at all that it's going to snow, you're going to want to wear boots, you want to dress in layers, you want to make sure you have gloves, and not only that, you want to make sure that your car is prepared as well. Because even if you have a brand new car, if it's 27 below zero, it may not start. You're going to want to make sure you have a pair of jumper cables in the trunk. And if you can get one of those winter kits with the flashing lights and all the different little things in there, little heaters that you can plug into your cigarette lighter, or different types of winter gear kits that you can buy, definitely buy them and keep them in your trunk, along with an extra pair of gloves, window scraper, and extra jacket and scarf and mittens. Keep that all in the trunk, because you never know, if you do get stranded, you may need every single one of those items. It could save your life. Another thing that you'll notice if you come to Minnesota is that if you go to somebody's house, you'll see a bunch of shoes on the floor right at the doorway. And those are there for a reason. If you're out trampling around in the snow and ice and everything like that, we certainly don't want you getting it all over our house, so you will be asked to take off your shoes. I know that not every area of the country is like that, when I grew up in St. Louis, you would just walk in, your shoes would be on, just like anywhere else. But here in Minnesota, I need you to take off your shoes. I think that may have happened just because of winter and all the snow and the mess and everything, but that is a tradition all year round. I think they just made it a general rule. When you go into somebody's house, take off your shoes. Also, another thing, if you live in Minnesota and you're a homeowner and not an apartment dweller like I am, you're going to want to get a snowblower. In St. Louis, there wasn't too many people with snowblowers. It was mostly, you get a few inches of snow, you shovel it out, you're done. But in Minnesota, you'll want a snowblower. And if you saw some of the snowblowers that they have here in Minnesota, Tim Allen would be proud. More power, more power. There are some good ones here, but that is an extra expense to sit beside your lawnmower in the garage. But it'll definitely save your back, and it'll definitely save you some time, and it'll keep your bones from freezing out in the winter cold while you're getting a blizzard. And another trick that people will use to deal with winter in Minnesota is to fly the coop. Get out of town. There's a comedian, Scott Hansen, and one of his jokes is that they should be checking your ID at the border if you're a Minnesotan, and they'll be like, hey, wait a minute. It looks like you've been here all summer. You go back home, sir. But they don't do that. So Minnesotans will head out sometime in the winter for a couple of months and go to places like Florida, where Kylie PL9 loves to greet them. Right, Andy? Check out Kylie PL9 on YouTube. He's great. But yes, that's what my parents do. However, today they are here in Minnesota dealing with the winter, so it's not like they get out of it totally, but during March and April, that's where they are enjoying the warm sunshine, and they get an early start on their spring and summer. And so if you're in a financial position where you can do that, definitely that's a good way to do it. On the flip side of the coin of leaving for the winter, the other option is to just embrace it, learn to love it. See the beauty in the winter in Minnesota, as my commenter from my last video said. It's beautiful, and it is. And so in Minnesota, there are all sorts of winter activities that you can attend. The St. Paul Winter Carnival. There are places that build huge ice castles. There is the Polar Plunge, where for charity people will go jump into the lake, literally. They jump into the cold, freezing water. And they have a lot of fun with it. They get together in groups and they just go take the plunge, and it raises some money for charity at the same time. So, if you can't beat it, just join it, I think, is the Minnesota philosophy when it comes to winter sometimes as well. And finally, when Minnesotans hear about a storm coming that's going to involve snow and cold and ice, they will hit the grocery store. Stock up on all the comfort foods, like tater tot hot dish is a big one. You may have heard about that one. It involves tater tots and cheese and meat, things like that in a casserole dish. It's quite tasty. Look it up if you've never tried it. But also soups and chilies and beef stew and all of those things that warm the body and the soul. And I'll say probably the best thing about winter in Minnesota that others don't get to necessarily experience in warmer climates is that when it's snowing out some days, like on a Saturday, and you've got nowhere to go, it's such a great feeling to just kind of open up the window and watch the snow come down. Not a care in the world. You've got your food, you've got your Netflix, you've got your hot chocolate. You can just let it all break loose outside, and you're just warm and toasty and comfortable from your little spot. And that is a wonderful feeling. And it makes me feel like, really, winter in Minnesota is beautiful. And in America, because Wisconsin does a lot of the same stuff that we do in the Dakotas. So yes, winter is actually a beautiful thing. I think I needed to do this little deal for my own self today so I can go outside and deal with it. Well, you guys, this has been a very fun little adventure from the couch here today on Tommy Travels the Second. And if you guys liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit subscribe and the little bell notification next to it so you can be the first to know when a new adventure comes out. And you guys, thank you so much for the support that you've given me so far. I'm going to go trudge out in the snow now, and I hope to catch you on the flip side. Just to give you an idea, this is what we're dealing with today as far as the roads and the snow. And this might give you a hint or two why today's adventure was completely indoors. Hot chocolates, other stuff that I can't think of right now. The living room, on the couch, watching the TV. There's something really cool about is to get the heck out of here. That's right. I don't know what I'm gonna say. And now I have just returned home. It is now evening and the snow is still coming down. You can see we got a little bit more since last time we checked earlier this morning. That's the thing about living in Minnesota. Sometimes when it starts snowing, it does not stop.